this week, as I experiment with different recipes and filming, I'm doing simple recipes this week. My goal is on the weekend, my brother and I'm hoping we're going to be able to do a pizza demo. Okay, bacon is always hard to cut. So, what I'm making today is potato hash. Alright, so I roughly chop up my bacon, and I'm using a red cutting board. Does anyone know what a red cutting board is for? Now that my bacon has been roughly chopped, I'm going to place it in my skillet. Alright, and notice when I scrape off the bacon, I use the spine of the knife. And that makes sure I keep my sharp edge sharper. It stays sharp. Alright. So this is actually 4 pieces of bacon. You know, sometimes you can use 2, you can use 3. And basically the bacon seasons the skillet and adds flavor to the whole dish. While the bacon is cooking, we are going to go ahead and prep our vegetables. As I said, I'm just using whatever I have on hand. This is like the last of my carrots, the last of my celery. But, you know, for those of you who are cooking on a budget, you know, raising a family on a budget, every little bit counts. A penny saved is a penny earned. So as you see here, I am peeling my carrot, and most of the shreds are being caught on my little paper towel here. You know, whatever gets missed can be put down here. I have 2 little nubs of carrot, but they're going to make for a delicious hash. And you know, and back in the day, that's what hash was made of, the odds and ends of what was left over at the end of the week. It seems like those are the best dishes. So I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way. Of course, I washed all this before we began, or before I began doing this. Checking on the bacon. It's looking good over here. Alright, now I'm going to cut both ends off of here. And then I always like doing this thing where I cut everything in half to keep it safer. So that way, like, carrots are round and they roll. So you want to get a more stable area. And again, because this is hash, everything is simply rough chopped. Make it kind of small, that way it cooks quicker and faster. These things seem to go every which way. Alright, do this again. Again, because it's round, we cut it in half. And then because this is a little thicker than the first piece, I'm going to go ahead and cut these in half. Line them up like so. Now go ahead and move that. That one's a little big. Alright. And carefully move this over. Because this is such a small cutting board, I can just do this as well. Alright, now this carrot has a few things going on with it. So we're going to cut off this end at first. And let's go ahead and cut through here, that little split piece. It's another one. Till you get the bad pieces off. Again, it's really not bad. Alright, let's go ahead and cut that in half. The half in half. Okay, and I'm going to cut this end piece off as well. Alright. Again, we're roughly chopping. It's early. Alright. As I said, the bacon was ready, perfectly done. I always cook my bacon medium to low, and the slower it cooks, the better it looks and the better it tastes. I want you to notice that my cutting board, no matter what I do, every time I cut one piece, I clean off my cutting board. And the reason for that is it's a lot easier for me to make my cuts if I don't have a lot going on the cutting board. Here I have what's called a shallot. I'll go ahead and move this over here. I always like to go ahead and cut through this end. And then peel the rest off. You can either use a small knife or just your hands to peel. I always like to cut off just a tip of that stem. And, well, just a little more. You know, and I know a lot of people will tell you, do this, do that. But for people who are just beginning with their knife skills, you know, the main thing is I want to teach you not to cut yourself. And so what I just say to do is just cut things in half and cut them in half or into slices. This one wants to flip. Now, if it feels unsafe, be careful with it. Alright. So I'll cut this one into slices. Alright. And so, you know, and if you wanted to mince it up, all you would need to do is kind of get a few together and then just rock your knife back and forth, keeping your hand on top like this. Don't put your finger by this tip. Alright, so because this is hearty, I'm going to keep these about this size. It's a hearty dish. Alright, and so here's the last of my celery. Seen better days. But again, we're using the end pieces of what's left over. And I'm just going to slice this. This is the heart of the celery. This is the best part. Of the celery. And yes, you can use the leaves of the celery. Alright. So everything's cut up. Time to clean up. Alright, so I have all my components here. My potatoes, carrots. You can do onions. I chose to do shallots because that's what I have on hand. And a few other vegetables I had was the celery and of course the bacon to flavor. Alright, so here is my skillet. I had quite a bit of grease from that bacon. So what I'm going to do is I poured the grease off already. And now I'm going to add my vegetables. This is on low. The heat is on low. Just dump your vegetables in gently. Whatever you can, don't want to drop anything. Alright. So I just like to put them in the skillet. Like to add just a little water. Celery on top. Dash of salt. A little pepper. Now, I'm going to put the lid on there. And we're going to set it and forget. Oop, maybe I can't use that. Ha! But we're going to let it sit and do its thing. So again, I have it on low. I'm going to bop it up to medium for a few. And I'll be back. It's been about 5 minutes now. And I'm going to check to see how it's doing over here. Go ahead and mix this up. Okay, getting brown at the bottom, like you want it to do. And I went ahead and turned it down. Because like I've said in other videos, or the other video, that once an iron skillet gets hot, it stays hot. And even on medium, the heat will go up. So this is looking good. Check potato. I'm still having a little resistance with the potatoes. So I'm going to cook this on low for approximately 5 more minutes. Isn't it getting a nice color? Alright. See you in about 5. Alright, now we're back to the potato hash. So during takes, I am doing things in the background. I think I let it sit just a little too long. Maybe not. Nope, it's good. Alright, it has a good color on it. It's sticking to the bottom just a little bit. Nothing a few scrapes won't take care of. Alright, it has a beautiful color. The potatoes, no resistance when I go through one potato. So this potato hash is done. Alright, and ready to go. Alright, so now my potato hash is ready to be served. Almost. Now it looks a little dry, so I'll go ahead and let that extra liquid go in. So we have to add the bacon I set aside and mix it in. If your family is like my family, everybody will pick at the bacon. So I learned to hide the bacon. Alright, once the bacon is mixed in, now we've already put salt and pepper on here, mixing in the bacon. And then once we mix in the bacon, it's ready to serve. So, 1 or 2 small scoops. If you have leftover hash, some of the things you can do with this is you can make a frittata, or you can make quiche. The potato hash costs very little to make. You know, 3 potatoes, a couple of leftover carrots, the last of my celery, shallot, or you can use onions. And I made enough to feed, I would say, about 4 or 5 people with that little bit of ingredients. Thank you for spending this time with me. And I hope you will find it just as easy as I did to make this breakfast as well. So altogether, I believe this breakfast took me roughly about 25 to 30 minutes to make. So it doesn't take long to make a nice, nutritious breakfast. Something like this you would pay, you know, $8 for at a restaurant, where you can make it at home 4 pennies per person. Thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe. I appreciate you.